speaker CA Falguni about role of virtual CFO, and this is the big opportunity for female CA. But before starting the session, I request our team to to start our institute motto, and I request every participant to keep their hand on their heart in respect.
य एष सुप्तेषु जाग्रति य एष सुप्तेषु जाग्रति कामं 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 कामपुरुषो पुरुषो निर्विमाणः निर्विमाणः तदेव शुक्रं तद्ब्रह्मा तद्ब्रह्मा तदेवामृतमुच्यते तस्मिन् लोकः शतः सर्वे तदूनात्यपि कश्चन एतद्वैता 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 एतद्वैता.
Thank you. Before starting, I want to announce 2 or 3 programs. There is a program on women conclave on this Saturday at Sahara. So this is only for women CA. So you all are invited, or you can register yourself for that program, and it will be a big event, and you will enjoy full day. After that, on 30th June, we are celebrating CA Day. And for celebration of CA Day, we are organizing CA Run to keep our CA healthy and cheerful. So we are in the Andheri West, we had organized one CA Run and walk. Who can't run, they can walk. That will be from RVG hostel to Silver Beach and return to RVG hostel. So starting point will be RVG Andheri and end point will be RVG Andheri. There will be only 5 to 6 kilometer run. So you all females are invited there over there to be a part of the big event. After the run, we will enjoy a cultural morning, and at that cultural morning is on Lata Mangeshkar Auditorium, the Dahisar Chek Naka, and it will start from 10 a.m. to 2 p.m. and you can enjoy dance and singing and all many other fun activity, and you and your family can attend that program to celebrate CA Day. So these 3 programs in nearby in this week. So you all are invited and you should register yourself for that program. And I recognize the presence of our WRC chairman, CA Ankit Rathi, our past secretary, CA Sweta Jain, and our past chairman, CA Murtuja Kanchwala here. Before the starting, I want to request our WRC chairman, C. Ankit Rathi, to say a few words for our attendees. Please.
Thank you, Pinky Madam. A very good afternoon and good evening to one and all present here. I am pleasure and privileged to be here with you all in this virtual room for this wonderful WOW series with Falguni Madam. Falguni Madam, thank you so much for accepting our invitation and being here for sharing your valuable knowledge for a very great and important sessions, or what we can say the role of virtual CFO. In present scenario, we can say the role of virtual CFO is from scratch to the till the end. Thank you so much for accepting our invitation. Let me recognize the presence of Treasurer Pinky Kedia Madam, past Secretary Shweta Jain Madam, and past Chairman of our West India Regional Council Murtuza sir. Let me also thanks to all the 3 pillars of our Western India Regional Council. They all 3 are working day and night for the betterment of our profession. Thank you so much, Madam and sir. As this is WOW series and all the ladies and women are attending these sessions, let me share with you the initiative of our Western India Regional Council, Project Puneshye. Few days before we launched the Project Puneshye, And the best things about the project Punisha, in which what we are doing, we are inviting any female member who take the break because of their family reason or after marriage, and they wants to or they wish to restart their professional career either as a part-time basis or a full-time basis on a flexi-hour basis on a from remote area. They wish to work in a city like Mumbai or even another city. They can update their updated resume or CV in our portal, in which we already hire a very good a 20-year-old HR company. They already committed us to and promise us to place all the female member in a good company or a CFM. I request each one of you, please go through our website and please do update our this initiative to each and every female member who looking to restart their professional careers. Let me also wish you a very happy CA day in advance, and as a chairman, I invite each one of you in our CA day celebration, which is we 30th June. Morning we are already host CA runs, Viksit Bharat run, and from 10 a.m. onward, Mile Sur Hamara and Tamara program. Friends, let me also tell you about females IRRC, International Residential Repressal Course, which is planning to be 6 to 14 July on the Bhutan. If anyone from you wish to participate in International IRRC Bhutan, please do connect with the Pinky Madam and Shweta Madam. They both are coordinating this event. This is only female-based IRRC. I request if you wish to participate, please do connect with the Shweta Madam and Pinky Madam. Let me request you, Murtuja Bhai, for his word.
Thank you, Chairman. Under the dynamic leadership of our Chairman, Ankit Rakhi, I think a lot of work, and like we said, this whole next week, the CA Day celebration, we are really excited, so many things happening. And even the regional conference this year looks to be very encouraging with so many great speakers on 23rd and 24th of August at Geo World Convention Center. Treasurer Pinky Kedia, past Secretary Shweta Jain, speaker for today Falguni Madam, and both the coordinators and all of you friends who joined here today on this session. I think really an interesting subject. I am seeing there are some chartered accountants who are moving from hard work to smart work. And when I say that, see, like having a large firm with 20 people and maybe filing 200 income tax returns, GST returns, making all those deadlines, signing the tax audit reports, and then like after all the costs, saving a certain amount. Instead of that, now I've seen people moving to a virtual CFO type of thing where they work for only 10 organizations and possibly make that much money with a very small and sleek setup and maybe 2 or 3 people. And I think like what is happening is organizations which are mid-sized, they are catching this. This is becoming a fancy, I'm sure Falguni Madam will talk a lot about it. But they try to get those younger people who can do the accounting and data entry. And hence like at our age and level, we are saved from the data entry work. But sitting here in our office virtually, we review the accounts, we help them in creating, we create MISs for them, dashboards for them. We talk to the promoters on a timely basis. But then like in a virtual CFO, I think the CFO plays a lot more strategic role. He becomes a partner with the business. He starts telling them about the receivable, the slow moving, the non-moving. There's so many things. And the promoter is so happy because the promoter feels wherever I'm getting stuck, someone is here to guide me and help me. And in addition to that, the CA with his knowledge also helps in the assessments, etc., all of those. And still commands a very high fees. And maybe 10 clients are enough to get you easily maybe a decent sum per month and with maybe 2 or 3 staff. So I think really, really good. But I think whoever is doing this, there is a huge future. Because as a country in India, when we talk about the GDCs and the GICs and GCCs, there are those 1,600 large multinationals who set up their own shops here with 10,000, 20,000 people. And that revenue contributes to 2% of our current GDP. But the next round, when this grows from 2% to 5% of GDP, I think those next round will not be 1,600, there will be 25,000 next level of companies from the globe who would want to come into India. They may not want to set up their own shared service center with 200 people or 500 people. They may look for people like us, where we can take their complete accounting, we can take their payroll, we can run it for them sitting here in India and charge them dollars and pounds. So I think this virtual CFO helps us to the next level. So really, I think tremendous opportunity. Happy learning to all of you. I'm sure Falguni madam is going to add a lot of value to you. So with that, let me hand it over back to maybe Shweta, if you want to add something, or Pinky.
Thank you. Just would like to add one thing, since Chairman has also mentioned about our Punash portal. So we have a database of women chartered accountants who are looking for the flexi work basis or some work from home opportunities. So we have tie up with HR, some of the HR people, but if you come across some people who are really interested in taking up those women chartered accountant, maybe on a outsourcing work basis or flexi working basis, please connect them to us. So we'll be able to bridging the gap. So with this, thank you so much, and over to Pinky for the further proceeding.
Thank you, Chairman Ankit and Murtuza sir and Sweta for your valuable comments and valuable insights. And now I want to start the session with CA Falguni Gandhi. But before this, I request Sweta to introduce.
Well, Shibal.
Okay, sorry. I request Sibal to please introduce the today's speaker, CA Falguni. Madam,
Good
please.
afternoon, everyone. It's my pleasure to introduce Falguni Madam. Falguni Gandhi is a professional strategist, planner, and visionary with an entrepreneurial blend of mind. She is a qualified chartered accountant and holds a 3-year diploma in computer programming. She has also successfully completed CFO program from IIM Calcutta and was recently incubated at IIM Bangalore for Goldman Sachs for 10,000 Women Empowerment Program. She has more than 25 years rich working experience as key management personnel in varied industries, multinational companies, and public listed companies. She has won various awards for cost initiatives and alignments, based project management, optimum treasury management, to name few. She is currently founder of CFO Focus, a CFO advisory firm which boosts clients across diversified industries, from startups to fast-growing SMEs. Finance as a function has been challenged for business owners, startup founders, and organizations. At CFO Focus, CA Falguni Gandhi is transforming the challenge into strength. They are strategic experts and specialized that simplify finance and tune it to the and enable. She has immensely contributed to companies in retail, D2C, e-commerce, travel industry, media, real estate, NBFC, startups, growth-centric SME, family offices, family-owned 3Gen, etc. Her rich experience also includes fundraising, listing on MSME Exchange Board, transformation from business finance, among others. With this, I welcome CA Falguni Gandhi for this session.
A very warm good afternoon to everybody. Thank you, Chairman Mr. Ankit Rathi ji, CA, past Chairman Murtuza ji, even our Secretary, Mrs. Shweta Jain, Pinky Kedia, Julie Shah, Sable Emedia, Vaibhav, everyone who, today made it possible for me to present in front of this prestigious WIRC ICAI forum. And I'm highly privileged, and I thank each one of you for giving me this opportunity. Today, I'm going to bring upon, this topic of CFO role, advisory CFO role, and how it is evolving in the dynamic space. I welcome all the members who have made it possible specifically the woman force who has made it possible today to join this session. And I hope that, I'm having those audiences who are wanting to, who from a long time were telling me to take this session. So I hope a few of them are there. From there also, I will be highly privileged. If you all are there, then please share your names on the chat. So I come to know that, yes, you all are attending. Okay. So are you all able to see my screen? Hello, Neha. Hello, Meghna. Hello, Anuj.
Yes, we are able to see your screen.
Yeah. So 1 second. Just allow me to, 1 second. Yes, so the opportunity for CFO services and how the role of CFO is evolving. I have majorly, want to greetings again, once again to all the wonderpreneurs. Now you all will be wondering who is this wonderpreneurs. Wonderpreneurs are all those women entrepreneurs who are attending this course. Whether even if they are working in industry, it's fine, but they are the women entrepreneurs. So I have named them as wonderpreneurs. So what is this session going to include? This session is going to include how, as a woman entrepreneur, what is the journey of a wonderpreneur? What is a journey as a leader? And, in the current profession and context of your CFO journey, how important that is. Communication, which is, again, very, very important aspect. The Chief Financial Officer and its advisory services, what does it encompass? Then a myth that whether the Chief Financial Officer and the CFO advisory services, is it the same as a CA practice? So articulating a role of a CFO in business and impact to all the stakeholders. Lastly, how the CFO space is going to evolve in this decade, next decade, how are we going to see it in the coming 5 years, post 5 years, 10 years. So everybody wants a very long-term visibility view of how the CFO space is going to look like. So in this last section, I'm going to touch upon that. Then there is going to be a case study, and then there will be a question answer session. Now, if you can see the index of this session, what this entire session is going to encompass, I have let all the topics be very, very simple language and extremely versatile to a woman entrepreneur in her journey as a CA and in her journey to take the CFO advisory role. Of course, it's even applicable to men, but what I'm trying to say is a little bit focused on those practicing CAs who are always asking me and aspiring to become CFOs. If you all have any questions, I can take it in the question answer session, but please feel free to give your suggestions as well while I'm talking. Wonderpreneurs. Now, women, how many roles it is, actually taking in a career in their entire lifespan? Women, have you seen the goddess with many hands? Literally, if you go to see a woman's life is like that, it's doing multifaceted roles at the same time. So we are having a family avatar, we are having a professional avatar, we are having a social avatar. We do have a public avatar, and we have one me avatar, which is the intimate me. And while doing all these avatars, we are striving to be our best. So I would like to say that a woman's journey is not easy. It is tough. Okay. And while we have so much of opportunities to learn about women equality and women empowerment, we are still in a society where there are no means of sessions which are taken for men to handle empowered women. So do not expect much out there. I would say that out of all these avatars, the one that you should keep closest is the me avatar in everything that you do. And family avatar, of course, you give a lot of love, but ensure there is mutual respect. Professional avatar. Now, usually women are always being given that, they are always being seen with a question mark of lack of professionalism, is because one of the things is that they come late. So try to attend the meetings on time and show your best professional foot forward. So while so many avatars are going on in a woman's life, I would say that always remember, once a CA is always a CA. So nothing is getting missed out. Do not rush. Do not panic. Okay. And lastly, what I would say, I wouldn't spend more time on this because I'm not sure. I think even if men are attending, but I would only, my message to the woman would be, after this 30 years of grilling in the industry and outside, and having spent those years, I could give you all one advice. Nothing is lost anytime. And, I am syncing with the institute after years. I was just mentioning to the, members, after years, I'm connecting with the ICI roots back again. Earlier, I used to give lectures in BCA as well. So what I'm trying to say is I'm connecting my roots back again after so many years. Doesn't matter. Nothing is lost. And what I wanted to say was just ensure that all these, whatever you do, your avatars are synced to each other. If you have certain constraints in your personal front, you ensure that you professionally, you only commit to what is possible and put your best foot forward. And ensure that you burn the midnight oil and give the best to the profession what you have taken up. Leadership. Why am I saying about leadership? Because CFO is all about collaborating. It's all about leadership qualities. A CFO is the one who is actually working very closely with the leadership team of the clients. Maybe it is promoter's family, maybe it's the family business, all the family members, maybe it's the entire suite of head of the departments, the marketing department, business growth department, CEO, CXO. So a lot of CXOs and C-suites. So leadership, coordination and collaboration is extremely very, very critical. And that is why the slide that leadership is the ability to think strategically, analyze the problems critically, take objective decisions, handle conflicts, manage changes, be flexible and negotiate smartly. So this is what I'm wanting to give you all a message, that a CFO is collaborating with all of them. And it's true that in all this, we need to be human and try to give our best foot forward. The art of communication is the language of leadership. Now, to really, frankly, because we are all chartered, I am told that there are only chartered accountants in this group who are attending this program. So I can reveal internally within our member forum that we CAs are always very bad in marketing our own selves. Okay. We don't believe in storytelling. We are somewhere very hard connected to facts. And, though it makes a lot of sense, but it is all about, getting a leadership consensus from your members. It's all about communication. You need to buy in people's, agreement to what you're saying. If you need to have some cost initiatives, if you need to put up some ideas, if you want to bring in a change management, you need a lot of acceptance. And for acceptance, you need to effectively communicate what you want to say. So that is the reason why communication is very, very, very important. And I think that we all chartered accountants need to really work on it. So be conscious of that. I hope you all are able to see my screen. You all can type on the messages if there is any constraint. So here, this is a most important slide that all the chartered accountants in practice want to hear. You know, they often tell me, you know, every CA that you ask now, every alternate CA says, hey, I am a virtual CFO. I'm doing a CFO practice. Yes, you can give me work. But what is a practicing CA and what is a CFO advisory? A practicing CA, when you're doing a CA practitioner, a CA practitioner majorly comes into picture only after the full financial activities are closed for the client. They are doing a post-mortem job. Whereas a CFO advisory advises on the financial value creation for the client. Are you seeing the vast difference? Are you seeing this vast difference? Practicing CA and CFO advisory. So, how many of you right now on this group are doing practicing CA? Many. So, practicing CA are the people excellent. Urvi, Julie, Ashwini, Meghna, Suzanne, all are practicing CAs. So these, you know, you all would agree with me that a practicing CA comes after everything is over. Whereas a CFO has to work and create that financial value for the business, right? Right from the beginning. Also, the practicing CA connects only periodically. But the CFO, who is providing advisory services, is strategically connected to the business. Are you seeing the difference? Connecting periodically, connecting strategically connected. You're strategically connected always. Now, the practicing CA has a very limited visibility on the business matrix. What he knows is what is the profit and loss, what are the financials, but how a business is measured, how the performance of a business is measured, the practicing CA would not have much visibility about it. Whereas the CFO advisory would take business matrix only as a key to start the advisory process. In fact, it will put together a business matrix to ensure that the business is reviewed and strategically aligned with the goals of the company and everything. So there's a vast difference coming out. I hope you all are getting it. Also, there is a communication with the practicing CAs only when required. When asked, you call your CA, he says yes, he will give all the advice. So he connects only when asked. But a CFO advisory is an effective communication is almost online with your business. It's like syncing with your business almost online. Whether this is effective, whether the CFO is virtual, whether the CFO advisory service is physical, whether it is part-time, whether it is full-time, whether you have an in-house CFO, whether you have an outdoor CFO, does not matter. The CFO, whoever, even if it is engaged for a virtual or maybe even physical for a part-time or a full-time, would always have an effective communication almost online with the members of the business. Then a practicing CA, his advice is very narrow to taxation. You know, anything you will ask him, or, you know, when you as a practicing CA, if your client asks you anything, whether should I do this, should I do that, your mind will work as to how I have to file his tax return, how my client will save tax, and there's no harm in that. He's been paying you for that. So he wants to take your advice, which is also a very critical advice according to me, is that, how do I do this? Should I show this as an expense? What do I do? So your mind works to save his taxes. But a CFO advisory is involved in every financial decision that impacts the business. So this is the vast difference between a practicing CA and a CFO advisory. Now, there is no harm in practicing CA to aspire for becoming a CFO advisor. Even if you do not have an industry experience, if you have, then great. I would say that just plunge on the opportunity of a CFO advisory. But if you are not even having any industry experience, I would say that you will have to very consciously understand the difference and come on the other side of the shoes. So a practicing CA, the way his setup is, cannot fulfill the duty of becoming a CFO advisory. But because there is a limited knowledge in the market, because the clients are also always looking out for cheaper options, what they will say is, "Arey, mera hi CFO bhi kar raha hai." वो बोलता है, "I'm giving virtual CFO services. So I'm going to take services from him." Now, when some client has some issues and when he consults us and then when we go, we remove a patara of things, then the CA will, because he's of course again CA, so we have a close knit, we'll talk like own people. So he'll tell me very frankly, he'll say, "See, Falguni, you have been hired at so-and-so consulting. This is my 10 years fees. I will earn only 10 years afterwards from this client. How you are charging him that much? So you will of course give him quality." So I told him, "Yes, that's fine. But who has commoditized the price? You. Okay. So while you are very good at understanding the audit fees, the peer audit fees, the internal audit fees, the certification fees, the limited review fees, the CFO advisory, you thought that you will do it within this scope, but it is a very engaging scope. And because you have compromised with the scope, you have not been able to charge the client. While the client always was expecting that you would do whatever he was wanting to. So there has been a gap. Now, all clients would not understand this and want to still continue with cheaper options, but that's fine. But I feel that we as professionals, we should understand and do a conscious, if you want to go for CFO advisory, consciously you have to be on the right-hand side table. If you have 3-4 partners, make one person concentrate on the CFO advisory. Let that person freely think as a CFO advisory. Let the other members continue as practicing CA. Because a practicing CA has a very, very different scope. And statutory audit is also in today's compliances and risk compliances. Oh my God, it's a superb task. I mean, let's not undervalue that. So what I'm trying to say is it has a very different outlook, what I'm trying to say. So you will have to consciously move to the right-hand side table if you are really aspiring to become CFO and wanting to do this on a long-term basis. I hope this makes sense to a lot of people who are in practicing. Comments have stopped coming, so I'm wondering if people are still awake. But a voice like mine, I think that people have to stay awake, I think, even if they don't want to. Yeah, Urvi, Julie, Ashwini, I'm seeing your comments. Sheetal. Okay. So as yeah, Prerna. So now the Chief Financial Officer, besides the CFO, is often first to spot opportunities to improve business performance, looking for options to optimize cost and increase revenue. This is what I told you, just a time back, that he is often spotted as the one who will spot the opportunities for the business. Okay, look for the options to optimize cost and increase revenue. So a CFO is the one which is in the army of the business. Whether he is outside, whether he is inside, whether he is performing from virtual, does not matter. He is one of the main army force. In the army force, he is one of the main captain. So it's a mind shift that a CA has to do, because you have the ability. You are also a chartered accountant. Others are also a chartered accountant. So you have that capability. But the only thing is you will have to think like being a part of that team, part of that business. And the role needs to shift from an external to an internal. So once you understand this, bifurcation, demarcation, then I think things will be very simple for you all. Now comes the main part. How do we articulate a role of a CFO service in business and impact to all stakeholders? You connect the strategy to the numbers and communicate it in a language that makes sense to investors. So what does this statement mean? Whatever is the strategy of the business, you convert that into numbers and you communicate in a language that makes sense to the investors. Now, what would the investors want to know about the performance? Is that how much of vendor reach have you achieved? How much customer reach have you achieved? How much are you, digressed in, as far as your demographics of customers are concerned, how much are you diversified? How much is your gross profit margins? Are you breaking even? Are you burning out? What is your break even? Okay, what is your strategy of growth plan? How many customers do you have? What is your CAC, customer acquisition cost? What is your LTV? What is your lifetime value of your customer? So these are a lot of metrics that an investor asks. So a CFO's role is to connect the strategy of the business to the numbers and communicate in a language that makes sense to the investor. Right? And so we have to ensure that sufficient development, drive profitability. So we align strategy and vision first, then drive the profitability. So enabling cost efficiencies, driving profit margins, providing information for timely decision making, maximize efficiency in cash flow and margins. Capital growth is a very, very, area where many growth-centric SMEs are looking out. Whether you are a startup, you will need funds to, scale your business, whether it is from angel investors, whether it's from PE investors. Then whether, clients would ask whether I should take debt or I should take, equity. What should I do? How much of my equity should I digress? What could be my potential valuation? Also listing them on the SME exchange board. So exchange board is having main board and small exchange board. You know that so many companies on the SME exchange board are doing very well. So that gives monetization to the promoters who have built the business since a long time. So a lot of, it gives them growth opportunities and fresh capital in the company so that they could further grow the business and then aspire to list on the main board. So the SEBI has given this, this opportunity and window for you to list on the SME platform. So CFOs can add a tremendous value in this. CFOs can do due diligence of that. And CFOs also can provide them the entire journey of, right from the start to the listing, and even post that, perform their compliances, assess them in performing their compliances. So one more thing which I wanted to tell you was that a CFO service does not encompass the accounting services, payroll. So while that is a very important part of the CFO, those are a little outsourced services. So that is just the decision with the company whether they want to have an in-house accountant or they want to outsource it to a firm, maybe a CFO firm also. But having said that, a CFO's role is to ensure that the members, whether they are from their own team, outsourcing team, or from the client's team, are aligned to the business vision. And their KRAs are also aligned objectively to meet the desired mission and vision of the company. So this alignment is what the CFO is responsible for. So there is a myth that the outsourcing services are also a CFO service, but I would say that a CFO service may be facilitating to give you an outsourcing services, but main work of a CFO advisory service starts when your finance is actually over. At that time, your role of a CFO starts because you start analyzing, evaluating, you guide them, put the chart of accounts for them, you understand, drive the MIS strategy, how it should be framed, what dashboards can your CEO see, what can other business people see, what parameters would you rate them. So it's all very strategically aligned. Strategic business partnering is, of course, as I told you and mentioned, that a CFO is a very, very strong and eminent part of the business. So it has to be working like a strategic business partner with the people. And it plays a very important role in the cross-functional activity. Then there is a digital transformation. So much is spoken about digital transformation. Oh my God. So digital transformation, let me give you one or two examples. We say that we will digitally transform you completely. So yeah, when we address to take an example of an e-commerce company. So e-commerce companies, lot of finance operation work is in picture. Okay. Accounting is one aspect, and then there is a lot of finance operations in picture. So this finance operations, we could digitalize it by the way that individual invoice is not to be fetched in the system, because we all know that we have GST returns and we have B2B vendors, B2C vendors, while the B2B vendors have to be reported invoice wise. And then there are B2C vendors in e-commerce, which are exempt again from reporting invoice wise, but there's a lot of data flowing, there's a lot of reconciliation that's happening. So the entire finance, operations could be digitalized, could be automated in a way where it could seamlessly move with very no more burden on the manpower, and could be efficiently tracked and managed and reconciled. So this is one part of a digital transformation. A small second part of the digital transformation could take place in your inventory. So while you are doing all the inventories in the warehouse and everything, ensure that there is no duplicacy and that there is some digital transformation in sense of how you are recording, so that once your warehouse is recording, you don't have to record it the second time, and it's all happening in sync. You bring together a inventory software that syncs with your accounting software, so that everything is synced in each other and there is no reconciliation issues that are happening which have to be tracked outside. So digitalization can come in any form, and it always need not be very complex. Small steps taken by us also can mean digitalization. Now, what is the biggest scope for the CFOs that are coming up, the CAs also, is the global business expansion that each business is aspiring. Okay. Actually, I wanted to tell all the CAs here that this CFO role that you all are, looking at is really very crucial. Why? It's a very, very great opportunity for all of us. I forgot to tell you all the opportunity. There are 143,000 startups that have been registered with DPIIT as on yesterday, that are formed in India. Now, 143,000 startups are live right now going on, and you can understand the immense scope that they have for the CFOs. And there are 6 lakh MSMEs that are in growth centric in the entire India. And how many lakh crores, I don't know, of their net worth. Okay, that data I had it in one sheet. That was the scope of this, but I don't know if it will come further. So I'm saying that there is a huge scope. Many startups are coming up, many MSMEs are growing on a very fast footing basis. So there is immense scope. And even our chairman Murtuzaji just mentioned before in his speech that many global companies are now wanting to have India as a main channel. So maybe even if they don't bring in India their head office, they will at least have an office to liaise in. And that again brings a big scope for the CAs and the CFOs. So the CFO practice is, the global business expansion is going to have a great impact on the CFO role, and the CFO is expected to manage the international finances and regulatory compliances, currency fluctuations, de-risking the currency fluctuations in a globalized economy. So there is immense scope for a CFO. So sustainability and ESG, these are also the CFO focus, in every company that you are doing. Say how much carbon emission they are doing. Are they working on the reduction of carbon emission? Are they using a lot of packing material that's harmful? How are they having a pathway to ensure that it gets reduced year on year? So do you have a plan of a sustainable future? Do you have a plan of, social governance, environmental? Are you integrating all that with your numbers? How are you going to make an impact? How are you going to, when you're raising funds to the investors, and if they ask you what's your sustainable plan, whether the CFO has embedded all of that also in the strategic financial plan is also very important. Also, the CFOs are required to do a lot of adaptability to change, approach to finance leadership. Then there is cloud computing, everything, all the data is on the cloud. So a CFO is to ensure that the data is on a real-time basis available, so that all the syncing is happening real time between your accounting data, between your point of sale capturing data, between your material management data, your client CRM data, whether all the data are coming from the web cloud computing and are falling in sync, so that it makes a real data available on real-time basis. Cyber security shield. Now, as more and more of these things are coming in, safeguarding the financial data is going to be a very big task for the CFOs. So a whole lot of penetrum to understand that how the financial data would be safeguarded by changing in the digital environment. So that's a good scope for the CFO. Now, how this space is evolving. Interestingly, it is becoming more and more strategic, further shaping by ongoing digital transformation. So strategic further shaping by ongoing digital transformation, changing the stakeholder valuation and expectation, and evolving global economic trends. So CFO's role has been always very, very demanding. As and when this whole digital transformation is taking place, there is more and more evolution of expectation from the stakeholders of what they expect to see and how one can mitigate the risks and maintain the corporate governances that are, engaged in the entire environment. How a CFO can bring a complete eco-friendly, you can say, a finance ecosystem, create a finance ecosystem around the business in such a sturdy way that it gives strength to the business and ensures that the business grows and is able to take optimum opportunities that exist for him in his industry. So a lot of advanced data analytics as to, the business that the client is in, what kind of product cycle is he in? Is he in the deteriorating product life cycle? Everybody knows the 4 stages of the product cycle. When you are growing, then it escalates, then it goes downturn, and then it dies. So what kind of industry your client's business belongs? What's going to be the, which kind of product cycle does he exist currently? How is going to be rationalizing his profits from here? So a CFO connects all the dots and ensures that each data is linked to each other, and it comes out with an information that makes sense for decision making. So this is all about advanced data analytics, automation. More and more in future, robotics will be used. So once robotics is used, so once robotics is used, you can imagine that there will be possibility of a lot of scenario development, because all the computation will be done by the robots. You have to just feed in. So more and more bandwidth is going to be available for providing strategic direction to businesses. And I do not know. I do not know, but I'm sure you guys will agree with me. Are you all seeing and facing this challenge of more and more people at the recruitment level, like when we are recruiting our team members, more and more people are not interested in accounting field. I don't know what is the reason. But have you seen this as a trend? Are you all seeing this as a gap in this available? They are not wanting, they don't want to take this as a profession. I don't know, they always say that, we are in data analysis, we are in MIS, we are in this. So I do not know, they don't want to be an accountant. What is the reason is really, because in our times, either you are a CA or you join the accounts department. But yeah, so everybody wants to get into very lucrative role, like very big names like investment banking, or either if they want to do internships only with Big Four. And they feel that the personal life is also very screwed in this by taking an accounting profession. Yeah. So, yes, Vruti, you're right. When we say that we are in this field, they see it as a low profile. So either then you are a CA, so people will give you respect, but accountants, nobody wants to be labeled as. Yeah, no, not glamorous. That's true. I think we'll have to make it glamorous again. They don't want to do traditional practice, and very low paid job is a key reason. Yes. So moment you say you are an analyst means your pay will start from somewhere like a very big number, right? And the moment you say you are you want to be an accountant, they will start your pay with a very low. They are getting worried on that. Yes, yes. So slowly, as the trend is moving, this entire fraternity will completely get extinct. So have you all thought about how are you all going to manage a financial ecosystem of your CA practice without these workforce? Yes, yes, Grishma, you are right. So they are all much into Instagram, working with more money. Sheetal, you are right. So even a small person would say, I want to do my own, can I find few people, clients, and let me see, let me evaluate. So now what do? We have to, of course, right now we have to make that feel a little more glamorous, this role. But it's very challenging, I would say, really. So that is why it is very important for you all to see that how this space is evolving in future. In future, this entire workforce right now, whoever you are having, is not going to exist. So how is you as a chartered accountant able to perform the things? It's all going to be robotics. It's all going to be automation. It's all going to be digital transformation. It's all going to be AI. Whether we like it or not, this is the future that's going to come in. And this is going to change the entire space of the CA, how we are performing right now. Whether you have a 200 people workforce or whether you have 2 people workforce, does not matter. It is going to change in a very big way. Okay. And while the Big Four can afford to do a lot of research into automation, robotics, we as a CA cannot learn everything on overnight. Okay. So Yeah, Grishma, you are right. See, I understand that you are saying that we should do some advanced data analytic course, what is recommended to keep ourselves updated. Very important. But what I would suggest is that do not get flawed away. What we'll have to do is we'll have to work very smartly. See, one thing is there that we CAs, we are not tech people. Okay. Okay, if the people who have done CISA, even I have done CISA, but what I'm saying is if the people who have done CISA, there's a lot of technology that comes into picture. But as a CFO, what I need to know is what are the data points that are very important for me? What kind of scenario analysis I can do? What is the decision making I can do? I can play with the numbers. This is my strong point. And second is I should know that if I want to achieve this, A was a traditional way of data capturing, data entry. Now I want it automated from the AI system. So I should know that the middleware is what is computing and putting all those into the data analytics. So I should be able to understand the modus operandi of how we need to understand how will this work, this AI will work. And data analytics anytime will help you. But what you have to do is advanced data analytic course will also help you. But what you will also have to practically learn is that in the beautification of AI is that you don't need to know coding. There is what is the meaning of an AI? That the traditional way of writing, IT people writing codes, transforming something is now not there. There is some common platform where if you know the output and if you know the input, the middleware helps you. If you decode it to them in a way in which they want, they will decode it and give it to you out in some way. So you do such courses that will help you to understand the middleware. What are the tech specs that they are using to do this AI? So data analytics can be one part of it, but it is not the wholesome of it. What I'm trying to tell you, the AI technology, see, data analytics is, what, lot of data is there and how you mine it more and more to get information. So that's one very good thing. But I'm saying that the mode of you getting that information in future, right now you will do data analytics by putting 3 people on Excel. But when that workforce is not there, how are you going to manage and how are you going to do it along with AI technique? So that is where I think that we'll have to, more and more companies will come up with avenues of guiding a simpler way for for us to understand and use these AI techniques. Okay. So this is what I was just saying, that the scenario that's going to come in the future is going to be extinguished with the lower workforce that we are having right now in our offices. They'll all be data analysts. They'll all be AI specialists. So, and we as chartered accountants will still know what is the input, what is the output. And we'll still do a lot of analysis and scenario. But the people will be using this AI techniques. So somebody will ask that, okay, I have to also learn AI. So learning is never, friends, learning is never going to be enough. I think each day we all are learning so much, but definitely grab yourself into courses which will enable you to be ahead with the trend. I would always say you can do data analytics. That's also good because if you're interested in a CFO kind of a role, data analytics is the base of it. And second is you can also go into some courses that make you aware about what are the options of AI digital transformation in future, so that when you are giving a solution to your client, you at least know what are the tools available and how this can be managed quickly rather than in traditional way. It is not very far, Sivash Shankari. It is not very far that institute will have to come up with such kind of courses. And, it is very, very important for the role from future perspective. It is definitely important. But as I told you, we don't have to learn the entire creation of an AI. Okay, we don't have to learn the entire role of a creation of an AI. So, but we'll have to know, right? We know what is in, what is out. The inside is now happening through not people, but AI. So how the AI operates and what we need to tell them and get out, maybe not too much of technical stuff, but at least we should be aware about the mechanism so that we can suggest. And of course, I will definitely stay tuned with you all to keep you all aware about the opportunities of the learning that are coming up in the industry. And, so how is the CFO? See, these are the data points I'm telling you. These are all the data points. Now the business is growing global. So are you seeing this is US, this may be UK, this may be your material management system, this may be your accounting system, all by BioWare. So much of digitalization. Now all these data points have to be connected, and they need to be connected in a way in which it can throw some timely information for the business to take decision. So that is why, oh, you cannot see my screen? Why my screen is not visible? What happened? Oh, somebody said not visible. Okay. Is my screen visible? Okay. So the most interesting part now, because while I've been talking and talking and talking, so I think till here you all were with me of how the CFO space is evolving. Okay, Sarita, thank you for your feedback. Siva Shankari, thank you for your feedback. So, I would like to hear from each one of you your experience of, what in a CFO that inspires you, and what is it that you would like to take the trade. I would move on to the case studies. So friends, I've brought in only one case study here, but I want you all, it is not the question of how many case studies we can do, but I'm just going to bring in one case study because I want you all to understand the ground concept. Okay, very simple. I have kept this. Excuse me if many CFOs have joined me who are experienced, because for them this may be a little more basic, but I've tried to meet the requirements of the audience, that they are women aspiring chartered accountants who want to take the CFO advisory as a profession, and also my women fraternity who are already earlier in industry, but due to some personal reason may have taken a break, want to come back to practice, but cannot commit full time to the industry and want to do something like this as advising CFO to some companies where they can be flexible. So, yes, Vruti, you are right. There are a lot of exposure considering different type of clients. CFO can give you a lot of exposure. And that is the fantastic reason why I'm loving it. After working for 25 plus years in the industry, I'm just loving being an entrepreneur. And the amount of industries that I'm working with and the businesses I'm working with is really making me very exciting. Okay, Charishnita, I understand. Yeah, Dimple. So that is what this entire session is. Stay tuned with me. So we'll take the question answer session a little later. First, let me continue with the case study. So there is a company, Delhi Private Limited. It was in service industry, very successful. Having been in business since 15 years, it started a new venture about 2 years back with his son into manufacturing, processing and selling spices, premium green tea, ghee from Himalayas, mainly on e-commerce platforms. including its own website and also having corporates and retail as their other channels for sale. Okay, this is a company. Have you all understood? So that company is into service industry. It's very, very successful. It is opening up another subsidiary. This subsidiary is a venture. It is 2 years old. It has been started with his son. They are into bringing Himalaya products into selling on e-commerce platforms, on own website, also doing B2B corporate sale, retail sale, and other channels of sales. Now, what happens is, see, this is the dilemma of a promoter. So, they have approached a CFO advisory firm with few questions. Now, what are those questions? We do not know if our venture is profitable. I do not have visibility of its performance. Which channel is working for me? Should I continue to bootstrap or raise money? So, finance as a function is itself daunting on the promoters and business owners. And they get, because of the complexity of businesses now, finance is a domain which always haunts them. Okay. So they are haunting the entrepreneurs, and he wants to know whether his venture is profitable, whether he should be raising money, whether how is it performing. He's not having any visibility. Whether what channel is working for me, what channel is not working, which product is working for me, which product is not working. So now he has appointed a CFO, he has called a CFO advisory firm, and he has asked these few questions that please, you come on board and help me with this. So now what is the approach of a CFO advisory firm? The first approach is to arrive at a unit matrix table of how would you measure their units of sale. When I say units of sale, what is the units of sale in this example? Can anybody tell? In this example, what would be the units of sale? Yes, products. Grishma, you are right. So what will be the each unit of sale? It will be one is ghee, one is spices. Various different products will be, each will be a unit. Yes. So now what will he approach is that he will first make a unit matrix where he will list down all the products on the vertical side. Each vertical he will make of a product. Okay. Then based on that, he will make a unit matrix of how do you measure that product and how you can arrive at a costing. COGS. Yes, Palvi, that can be definitely possible. But right now he is looking at the journey of the new business. Old business, he is very, very happy that he's doing very, very well. But he wants to know the destiny of this new business. He knows, until he does not know how he is doing, he won't know the impact that is doing it to his main business. Whether the main business is losing its money giving to the subsidiary or it is making money. So वो कंपनी बाद में आएगा, पहले इसका फ्यूचर, इसका कुछ मालूम पड़ेगा तो पता चलेगा, right? So now based on the CFO advisory, he is set to arrive at gross margins that the business was currently earning and bring in efficiencies to improve the margin. Correct? Okay. So even the competitor analysis will come much later. First, we have to assess, competitor analysis in a way, in benchmarking, it will come. But what we have to is that right now, how to get visibility to this guy, okay, about his business. So a unit matrix table was made. All the unit matrix was brought into how many total products does he have? All products on the vertical side, one by one listed down. So you have a soap, or you have a turmeric powder that boosts your immunity, 175 grams. So it comes on one table. You have a turmeric powder immunity boost, 100 grams, another table. So each unit matrix of the number of products and what is its relevant cost. Okay. So you get a, once you arrive at that, each product you arrive at a profitability of what is the gross margin. Okay. Now, what were the facts that came out? That the packing cost was almost equal to raw material cost and there was no inventory maintained of the packing material. Then losses in the packing was higher than the benchmark. Means when you are manufacturing something, you are manufacturing 100 kilos should come out for 10,000 packets of 100 grams, but it is coming only 9999. So how much is the wastage? So Neha, to answer it, how unit matrix would be possible? Of course, I'll take question answers in the last, but because we are on unit matrix, how in FMCG, we will have to take each category. If you are a very large FMCG, like, if you are one of a very Hindustan lever, then in Hindustan lever, we take each category and do profit analysis of each category. But if I have a niche startup company who has only 10 to 12 products, I can of course do product-wise analysis. So it depends upon the clients and their requirements. I have seen pharmaceutical companies, even larger than FMCG product list, each pharmaceutical tablet and each composition having so many Excel lines and its analysis done to compare whether, what kind of percentage is it doing in the overall composition. So, yeah, it doesn't matter about that. Your concept needs to be clear of how you want to measure it. Okay. Then what is possible based on your time, you can decide. So, then what happened was, further the facts were highlighted that the freight cost for raw material was charged separately, which was proportionately very higher found. Products were going on sample, they were not accounted correctly. Okay. So if I sell 100, cost of 120 is assigned. So will I come to know my gross margin correctly? No, because 20 went for sample. So if somebody asks me, what is your cost of goods sold? How can I tell them? Because now 100 I have sold is I'm charging 120 products. So margins are not coming correctly. Raw materials that needed no processing directly, they were coming via the manufacturing hub. So all the raw materials were going to the manufacturing hub. The manufacturing hub was making it and it was coming to the nodal head. But there were certain raw materials that did not require any processing that directly could come to the nodal head. But they were also going there. So a lot of freight was additionally getting charged. So you saw that operational angle is also bringing in. Okay. Then in cash flow efficiency, we saw that some supplier bills were paid at times before the credit period. Okay, now all these are the facts. Now, how do we solve? The packing cost was almost equal to the raw material cost and there was no inventory maintained of the packing cost. So what advice we will give them? Please maintain inventory of the packing cost also, because that's also very, very, very important. So add that in your material management system, the packing cost also. The packing material will form a very important part of the inventory. And also the packing costs need to be reduced. And how do you do that? You have to benchmark it with other industry players in the similar packaging, using similar packaging, and also get good quotations from suppliers who can give you, without compromising on the quality, can give you the same packing at a lower cost. Okay. Then what could you do in losses in packaging? Losses in packaging were higher than benchmark. So what would you do for that? Any suggestion, anything, any points? So this is the wastage I was telling you. Losses in packaging is the wastage. So when you are accumulating all the manufacturing, what happens is that merely for the, there's some waste that's happening. So out of, you can say 1 kg of turmeric powder, it should have exact 110 packets of 100 grams, but it will only have 9 because one would go in wastage while you are making it. Yes, yes, good suggestions. So we will go, freight cost is also higher. So losses in packaging, what we can do, what the client we advised was that the supervisor at the manufacturing hub was, we saw that benchmarking in all other industries, it was only 1% maximum wastage. The manufacturing process was not so tedious. So maximum only 1% could go wastage. So the supervisor at the manufacturing unit was given the target that your wastage cannot be more than 1%. If it is more than 1%, you will have to absorb it. So that was his KRA that was fixed. Okay. And based on that, the company saw that the wastages came back well within the 1%. The freight cost for raw material was charged separately. So the client negotiated, few vendors agreed for 50-50, few vendors did not agree. The client started using its own transportation service, which was having lower cost than the supplier freight cost. So that way the freight cost was also rationalized. Then products going on sample were not accounted correctly. What would you all do for this? How do you account for free samples? Where do you account it? Yes, Kritika, you are right. We have to add it as a marketing expense. It cannot be added to the product costing. If you add it to your product costing will not show the correct margins. So if today I am doing a marketing to set up my business and I'm giving 100 samples free, and if I have sold 100 samples, if you're going to load the 100 sample cost to also my 100 pieces that I have sold, that means I'm almost bearing 2 times the cost. It will show a negative margin, whereby actually it is not the case that my products are doing negative margin. So it will not reflect correctly. The picture will not get reflected correctly. So are you all seeing that if I have sold 100, I have to charge the cost also of 100 only to know the gross margin. If I'm charging the cost of 200, will it show me the right gross margin? It will not show, right? So add to the product costing as a marketing expenses, right? So products going on sample weren't accounted correctly. So raw material that needed no processing directly were added to the end product. So this I told you all. So it was now directly called to the main hub. So the duplicacy was saved. And the supplier bills were paid at times before the credit terms. Usually when you want to pay the supplier bills before the credit terms, what will you do? What would you do? What would you advise the company? You have to pay them not before time, but if I want to pay before time, yes, Grishma, you are right. Ask for discount. Pallavi, Sarita, you are right. Ask for discounts. You are right. Bang on. So these were the CFO action, the following points. Okay. I've just covered one part of the small case study. So it drives benchmarking of the rates of the packing material and thereby the lower cost by 20%. The supervisor at the manufacturing hub was made responsible for wastages beyond 1%. Suppliers agreed to bear 50% freight cost. Few who did not agree, the company started own transportation, which were cheaper by 15%. The cost of goods given on sample were accounted in marketing costs. So the gross margin was reflected correctly. Some part of the raw material that needed no additional processing were called direct to the central hub, thereby reduction in freight cost, manufacturing costs. And cash flow efficiency, supplier bills were paid. So supplier bills were paid at times before the credit terms. This leads to the cash flow efficiency. Credit terms of suppliers need to be unlisted in full and avail cash discount if can be paid before the due date. So, they asked for cash discounts. Now, by doing all this, the CFO actions, what happened? What would be the result? Can you all tell me what would be the result after CFO actions all this? After CFO actions all this, what would be the result for the client? Can anybody tell me? Yes, profitability will increase. Yes, so we have worked on all the issues only up to the gross margin level. So the gross margins will improve. Yes, so there will be gross margin improvement. Though I have used the word profit here, it is not profit. It is a result of margin. Results margin, gross margins were improved by 15% for the client. So the client accountant was showing 5% negative margins. We became positive by 15%. So by 15% improvement, he could see that there is a 10% profit in his gross margins. So gross margin was improved drastically for the client. Okay, if he was selling a product for 100 and he was right now having negative 5 rupees, the entire gross margin transformed into a 15% addition. So his profits, gross margin showed positive. So a CFO you saw from a fact finding, the case study that we studied, he had come with, we do not know our venture is profitable. Of course, profitability of the venture will come when you go below the line also, where there will be marketing cost, commission cost, channel-wise cost. All that we have not done. We have only been till the gross margin. But so there is a whole lot of all those also which will happen. Yes, sustainability will also be there as a cost. And visibility of its performance, the client is having a very big visibility of the control. And which channel is working for me? So that channel working for me, gross margin tak pata chal gaya kaun sa channel, ghee will be 80% profit, some turmeric may be showing 30% profit, but it is only till gross margin. Abhi aage aane ka baki hai. So should I continue to bootstrap or raise money? This will come further when we do a lot of things. So we have covered till the gross margin. So with this, I'm ending my session today. I hope that it was, I would like to discuss more with question answers and everything. I think I went with a little more speed than I thought I would go, but I hope it was communicative and you all were able to be with me engaged. So all the women entrepreneurs, I would like to convey that I know many of you are asking me that question that, ma'am, we want to start working as a CFO, how to get work. So I want to tell you that please be on the right side of the table. Be on the right side. Tell me, Dimple, very frankly, what are you doing? You're doing your own CA practice? Okay. So what work do you do for your clients? Can you name few? Dimple, what kind of work do you do for your clients? Kritika, practicing CA can definitely offer CFO services. Of course, it can offer, but the outlook would be very different. Tejashri, you are already into a VCFO services, but are you really, Tejashri, tell me very frankly, we would like to hear from you as an experience. You are providing virtual CFO services. tell me how much of it, what I told you right now as a part of the CFO, are you able to really do for your clients? Maybe because of limitation of fees that he's giving, or the scope is not that much. Okay, very good, Tejashri. If you're covering, then you are already a CFO. So you are already covering 100% of it, and you are already engaged with the client. So that's a really good thing. Yeah, of course, I know, Tejashri, that this is much, much more. There are lots of dashboards that I could present here. There are a lot of data connection points, but I wanted to make it very simple for our aspiring CA members, women who want to get into this CFO profession. Yeah, please share pointers. It would be very important. It would be very important for you to share pointers. We would all love to hear it. Yes. So what I want to, for people who want to get into CFO advisory services, I would say that a practicing chartered accountant can definitely become a CFO. You can provide CFO services, but you all will have to remember the distinction that a CFO service is not only accounting, and it is actually not at all accounting, managing compliances and all that. It starts where the accountant works ends. So it's lot of analysis. It's lot of working with the functional flows. It is lot to work with strategies. Like I would like to give you all an example. Just park that question. Somebody asked how many companies would be appointing CFO. Okay, I will address that question a little later. So I will let me tell you one thing, that let me share you an example of how a CFO can add value to a, there is an SME growth centric company who was doing very well and wanting to plan globalization. Okay. So it had a very good clientele, and it was having a lot of channels of sale. So they wanted to then go global also. So they thought about exports as a very good line. So, always a company has a plans and growth plans, and you make, 5 years plan of how you want to span into. So there were a couple of things which were there in the bucket, but right now we had a budget and we had a plan of reaching from X number to a Y number. And there was, of course, a capital growth plan as well. So what happens is that, the client called me. So the client called me and said that, hey, Falguni, I'm sorry to bother you in between, but there's something very, very critical. There is a gentleman in my office. He's a superb profile for a excellent, export vice president that I'm looking out to expand my export services. So I want to start my export services with him, appointing him. And he has a very much similar experience of the industry that I'm looking out for. He has already established one company, and he's just come from Dubai, UAE to here, and now I want to hire him. I've already finished interviewing him virtually, and as well as today met him physically. And I'm going to appoint him in my management leadership team. So I, just before giving a final go ahead, I thought that if you could meet him, and is it possible if he can immediately set out to come to your office, and could you be accommodative to meet this gentleman? So I said, okay, sure, you can send him. So I met this gentleman, and he was truly a very knowledgeable person. And he exactly was working for the similar industry what my client was. And he had all the domain expertise which was required. And he was at a very senior level. So he would create an entire P&L for the export services. And he said, that I'll do this, I'll do this, I'll do this, we can do this. And fairly, we could, get 200 crore top line in the next 2 years from the export division, which was very huge for this client. So when I was talking with him, I took a lot of data points. What what kind of data points would I take from him? As a CFO for the consulting CFO for this company where my client was, and he was growing, aspiring to grow, and year after year he was growing very well. And we had set out some plans. But when I was talking to this gentleman, I've taken certain data points. After he has left, I have called up my client. I have said that he's an excellent person and there cannot be anybody better than him to start your export division. But you know what? Once he comes on payroll, he wants X funds to start the export division. He wants Y funds to first get the first manufacturing lot out. And to get the manufacturing lot out to these many countries that he has specified your products would sell into, require a minimum quota of manufacturing and dispatch, because otherwise your logistic efficiencies would not work. You would minimum require how many 1,000 quintals of production. And for doing that, you will require these many funds. And by the time the flow of the money will keep coming to you, it would be X number of days. So you have to upfront invest more than 100 crores for 1 year. Then your 200 crores will keep coming and that money will keep churning. So is our business right now? We have to put money in our existing business that's doing good. And, we need to then reach a certain scale, raise money, and then go for the export line. The client could not have thanked me enough. He said, Falguni, I see the point, and I'm so glad that I sent him there. And, this has been very fruitful for me. So while I am, in my entrepreneur journey of being very excited to, do everything, you have correctly guided me on the financial terms and made me understand that we should right now stick to our own plans and continue doing these channel businesses and reach a scale, raise money, and then go for aspiring export services. Of course, the exports are going to do extremely well, but we need to have a strategy, right? We cannot land up into everything and then have screwed up finances even in the current channels. So you do not disrupt something. A bird in a hand is better than two in a bush. So you have to ensure that your current supplies are correctly managed, and only then you aspire for new things. Okay, you don't disrupt this old thing. So this is also one live example that I gave you that a CFO can contribute even in the strategic decision making of a company of how he is thinking. Okay. Very good. Okay. He can participate in automation. They can get SOPs in place, ensure internal controls, give MISs with ratios and lot of things. Very good. All these are also very, very useful. Very, very useful. CFO always puts processes in place. By putting processes in place, it always ensures that the risks are mitigated and that the transaction is completely sound and taken care of. There are no leakages. There is a transaction assurance, we call it. So that's the first step of a CFO. Yes, when we give our CFO services, we come with a whole set of experience of third party. We have a lot of third party partners like banking relations, investment funding relations, banking, investment bankers. We have a lot of technology partners. We have this accounting software as our partners. We are working very closely with Tally partners, Zoho partners. We are working with QuickBooks. We are working with many MIS dashboard companies. We are working with a lot of, people in the industry which have finance ecosystem who can give you online payment options, who can banking industry, financial industries, NBFCs. So of course, the CFO practice can bring in all its people in its network on a ready-made platter to the client. So the client doesn't have to look out for somebody to do all these functions separately. And also a client can avail of all these services without spending for the CFO full time. So a CFO may earn 1 crore outside, but the client has to pay only this much because he's only using 4 days of the CFO time in a month, or he's only using 6 days in a month, or only 1 day in a week. So 4 days in a month. So the costs are getting divided. Same experience is coming on your table, and you are able to derive everything what a person would want to. Now, somebody asked a question, which companies would keep a CFO advisory service? So if a company depends upon the industry it is, if it is into a lot much of cumbersome activity, even a company with 100 or 200 crores will go for a CFO of its own. But where the company is into service industry, or where the company's transactions are not so cumbersome, then earlier the benchmark was 500 crores. So if your company is into more than 200 to 500 crores, there are growth-centric SMEs which still need help of CFO advisory, but up to 200 crores for sure, there will be companies who would be aspiring for it. So you could initially keep a target of companies who are having a turnover of 10 to 50 crores, 50 to 100 crores, 100 to 200 crores. So I think this could be an aspiring target where the companies are in the growth phase, they are consolidating, they cannot do with the accountant alone. They need an expertise. They need a CFO in practice. And that's where this role can be prominent. I think I have answered almost all questions. What are the other questions? Let me see. Okay, contact screen you all wanted once again. Okay. I'm so glad today I could address you all, and I hope that the session was enlightening to everybody. It was enlightening to me also. I got a lot to know from you guys. Already, I think many of you are doing a lot of things, and I'm really happy to see that women are more and more having a liking on the CFO profession. I think all the practicing CFOs, chartered accountants would have at least come to know a demarcation of how they are looking at a client and what is a CFO's services requirement for a chartered accountant to be think like. I hope that demarcation was very clear today. I'm not seeing any yes on the chat. Was it, was it able to show you all the bifurcation, demarcation? Yes. Yes, Sarita, Ashwini. Yes, Tejashri, you need more such sessions on this topic, and even I want to learn a lot from you. We'll definitely have, this was a very preliminary thing. If the, chairman is kind enough to give me, and Shweta ma'am is quite enough to give me more sessions, I would take more of case studies, and I would further lighten upon few other aspects of CFO, because in this limited time, I wanted to get certain points very clear. so that the base of a person who is thinking about doing CFO services is very clear, and at least they know a starting point. So this whole PPT was based on that. Yes, Dimple, even I would love to address you. Thank you so much for joining me today. And I would request the coordinators to now move the thing. I think we are done with. Shruti, you are asking that what are the opportunities at virtual CFO, how to reach out to new clients. So once you are, your mindset and your entire, you have a financial ecosystem that matches for doing a CFO aspiration, you need to go reach where startups are, where fast growing SMEs are, and you need to pitch for your work. Neha Savla, you need not surrender your COP. You can well keep your COP, but it would not be useful because a CFO never gives any certifications. The statutory auditor would also be very different. You won't be a statutory auditor of your client. You are a CFO. You don't need not surrender your COP. You can continue your COP for other clients. Okay, Julie, madam, I think we have addressed all the concerns. I really enjoyed a lot of questions coming from the young aspiring CFOs.
Indeed. Yes, ma'am. Yeah, indeed. It was a wonderful session, and I think you have a great patience, and you are answering all the questions to their satisfaction. Thank you so much.
It was a pleasure.
Yeah. So, ma'am, on behalf of WRC and the WOW team, I would like to just present a formal vote of thanks to you. It was a great start with a pride statement. A CA once is always a CA. So that was really, appraised our face, and we can just, so it's a really proud statement, and we'll always remember this. You have actually articulated the CFO role by the Wonder Woman's Wonderpreneurs. Sorry, I think that word is again a wonderful word. So Wonderpreneurs in a very lucid way. There are immense opportunities which you have explained us in coming up the startups as well as MSMEs and the global areas. So definitely we as a woman can grab these opportunities and grow in our career. We can play different roles in different areas. I mean, we were not aware. I mean, though we are aware of it, but then you sometimes you are not so confident that we can also do this. So we can totally change our image from traditional practice to a different scenarios where you can be the leader, you can be the owner, basically the entire businesses. You can just head up. So this is fantastic opportunities. I think we all should get up ourselves and update ourselves so that in coming nearby futures we can grab these opportunities. So really thank you, ma'am, Falguni ma'am, for this eye-opening sessions, and it was indeed an enlightening session. So on behalf of WRC and WOW team, and on behalf of me, I request everyone to give Falguni ma'am a big round of applause. Thank you, ma'am. Thank you for joining. And
thank you so much. Thank you.
Looking forward for the further sessions with you for the.
Yes, sure. I would definitely like to speak on Women on Wednesday. Wow, series.
Yes, ma'am. This kind of this kind of encouragement is really necessity for the females who are actually taking breaks. Correct. Some or the other reasons, and actually they are putting so many years in studying and getting this prestigious degree, and they cannot just justify it, at least in their eyes. So this kind of opportunity is really helpful.
And I was also, I think I'm really wanting to thank WRC because there were, I was a member in many business forum, women business forum, and they were requesting me there that Falguni, do take up ma'am session for CFO services. We want to know what it is, do guide us. So I was somehow due to time not able to make it, and I thought this was a very good forum. And I am sure, I hope that few of the women have taken your, like Veera, are you there? I don't know. Veera was also contacting me that, ma'am, we want to hear you. So I hope that maximum of the ladies would take this opportunity and at least have a head start on where this services is meant for.
Yes, definitely.
you.
Yes, ma'am. It was
Thank you.
indeed. Thank you, ma'am.
Thank you, everybody. Very thank you. Bye.
Thank you, everyone. Bye-bye.
Bye.
Bye-bye. I think we can end this session, guys. Participants can leave now. Thank you, everyone, for joining. Looking forward for the next sessions in a coming days soon.